Hello, you beautiful souls of love and light. This is Lady Nenari, Princess of the Sea, coming to you with a welcome. Welcome to singing our soul song, light language, soul visions within the threads that connect us. How are you doing this evening? I'm actually going to just wait a few moments for other people to come on, and I'll put on my specs, my eyeballs as I call them. Can everybody hear me? That's what I fancy to Kane. If you can let me Kane. Hello Hazel, hello Enki. Lovely to see you on here. Let me Kane if you can hear me. I'm hoping the also a bit stronger because I'm in a different position. So, hello, Rachel. You, thank you, Anki. I appreciate that. I feel very refreshed. You can hear me. All right, good, good. Glad to hear it. So as we're waiting for other people to get on, just kind of do a little bit of housekeeping, as it were. Okay, good. Glad you can hear me. If you have questions for I would invite you to please hold on to them for just a wee bit, as I'm going to bring through some wisdom in words of wisdom first in our Satsang. And so, thank you, Eki, for saying you love the green on me. It's interesting because while we're waiting for others to come on, this blouse actually is a million miles huge on me now, being that I've lost so much weight, but I absolutely love it because it's got that Indian like but Celtic feel to it, and very medieval like, and so I've kind of kept it and I put a belt around it and whatnot, but hey ho. So thank you for saying that. Hello David, lovely to have you on here this evening. Right, so within the words of wisdom that are coming through for satsang this evening, go as you can or know, this has really become more our show, my twin souls and mine, together. It's a co-creation of love to benefit all of you in humanity. So hello Ali, welcome. And so the words of wisdom, hello Becca, wonderful to see you. Just to recap really quick for those of you who have just come on, if you have questions for a reading, please hold on to them for just a wee bit until I say the word go, if you will. I'm going to bring through some wisdom within words of wisdom, and this actually comes from my twin soul and myself. In this respect. And one of the things that was on a lot this week, and many people have been in a place of fear regarding, is this whole coronavirus. And some of you may have seen my live the other day, in which I dive deep into that as to what we can do to lessen our viral load. And so we kind of related to that, the biggest antidote, and this is actually something my twin soul put as a comment onto my live video when I premiered it on YouTube. He had put love in itself is the antidote, right? So once we're in a space of love rather than fear, this actually does so much more for the immune system and so much more for our soul and our heart essence than else ever. And as I'm going through and sharing this with you, just so you can, I'm not going to be reading the comments just yet. So please be free from feeling offended at all if I don't see your comment just yet. I will come into those in a wee bit. So along with the physical body is actually coming into who we really are. And this is what satsang actually means. Satsang means to sit in the truth. It means to sit in the truth of who we are. Who we really are as source, as infinite consciousness. And once my twin soul, Chris, and I, we were co-creating what it was that was going to come through us from source for this satsang this evening. One of the things that came up was about coming into the understanding of going beyond the mind body, the mind and body, the mind body. And the suggestion, the seed that my twin soul had given was in this realm. So the divine masculine is here to give us our seed, and this is free from just meaning us as the divine feminine goddess in terms of sexuality. That would be of the mind and the body. This is in terms of the soul seed of who we are as our soul song in the heart, in heart and soul. And from there, as divine feminine goddesses, we're here to blossom this forth, to multiply it, to birth it, okay? And so I'm upon what it is that my twin soul had written, and what he had sent me was this: the mind body doesn't keep existence happening. The sun doesn't need its help to keep shining. Going deeper into what keeps even the mind and body going. Okay, the mind body are effects within consciousness. So we're invited to start at the source, and the source is within consciousness. Who we are is infinite consciousness incarnate. And we are to understand deeply that no thing, no one, no place is our source. Only source, infinite consciousness, is. And then from there, from that beingness, the doingness comes. Action. From there, the right people, the right circumstances, the situations, everything that we require, and that indwellingness within our heart to take action occurs. But it all begins with infinite consciousness, going beyond the mind and the body. Now, I'm going to give a brief caveat to this and say this is free from meaning at all that we are to somehow spiritually bypass and just, oh, la, 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 we're in infinite consciousness. Oh, we're just in love, and we're in love or source. And that's it. Just being in that resonance itself is chaos. And then the opposite of that in human consciousness, of the doing where we're doing all the time, that's also chaos. It is the balance, it is the wholeness, it is the integration as one in union of both the being and the doing, of both the mind, body, and infinite consciousness. Infinite consciousness first, source being our source first, and then from there everything comes. And when we're in this resonance of love, it's like the Holy Trinity. Right now we're in this beautiful time of the 3-3 energy. We just passed through the 3-3 portal on March 3rd, and this is also the holy time, because we are in, from a religious perspective, in Catholicism, the holy sacrament of Lent. We are in also, it's just this time of the year is a very sacredness and a holiness that has us go beyond the body, mind, and into infinite consciousness and tune into that Trinity. So what is the Trinity really? It is the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, or the Holy Ghost, yet free from being in a biblical or religious context. It's more from the soul perspective of infinite consciousness, of the body animated. What is actually animating the body, right? The mind and body don't keep existence happening. The existence is you, and that you is source consciousness, infinite consciousness, the master artist, creator, the Tao, whatever you so choose to call such. So as we sit in this, I invite you to really take a moment to tune in, touch in, and see if you can see yourself, your soul, beyond the egoic consciousness, beyond the mind and the body. Yet also understand that the mind and the body is there as the vehicle for our infinite consciousness. So who is the Father? The Father is Source itself. The sun is the sun that's shining, right? Just like my twin soul had shared. The sun doesn't need help to keep shining. It just is. It is just that source of light, that source of love. For where there is love, there's healing, there's peace, there's joy. And we're going to get into that in just a few moments, actually, with something special. So then what's the Holy Spirit? The Holy Spirit is that animation of who you are as infinite consciousness embodied, soul embodied, singing your soul song, singing who you really are. Coming from that space of love first, rather than fear. Going beyond infinite consciousness, but then coming back around full circle into human consciousness. It's both and. So today is actually quite a special day. It's the 4 energy. It is the 6th of March, 2020. And so in numerology, that equals 4. And so that is the essence of Lemuria, the diamond essence of love, which is love, light, oneness, language. Language being our first telepathic, energetic, soul-to-soul, heart-to-heart connection, which is so important. Even in moments of this fear of things like this virus that's going around, the more we stay in that presence of love, the more infinite consciousness shines through us. Yet we're also able to be in humanness at the same moment. So this day in humanness is the 14th anniversary of my twin soul's brother's passing. And coming up actually in 20 days is my daughter's birthday, and she would have been 19 this year. It no matters how spiritual you are. It no matters how much you go beyond the mind and the body and into infinite consciousness, still in humanness, your heart still aches during such times. My daughter passed away. My twin soul's brother passed away. You may have someone who has passed away. There is both and consciousness within infinite consciousness, and it's the understanding that we grieve in humanness. They're passing, that they are no longer with us. And going beyond the mind and the body into infinite consciousness of who source is, who we are, is never, ever an excuse to bypass the human form. Because we're here to be loved and to love, to be love itself embodied. So of course in humanness we are going to miss that person or those persons, or it could be a job that we've lost that we really loved, or a place that we lived in, or friends that we've had. Everything from human consciousness form is temporary. Yet, in the heart and in the soul, they are still with us. Chris's brother is still with us. My daughter is still with us. I feel her all the time. I feel Danny with me all the time as well, with Chris as well, all the time. What we grieve is the physical humanness, and that's okay. It's more than okay. And at the same moment, we also understand that where there is love, there's that healing, that peace, that joy. So now before I open it up to the readings, along those lines, in our Satsang, we have Kirtan. And Kirtan, or Kirtan, depending how you pronounce it, tomato, is a means by which we call out to the universe, we call out to source, we call out to the master artist, infinite consciousness, a vibrational frequency of energy that is reminding us of our soul song, reminding us to sing who we are. And bless my twin soul's heart, he is this amazing master guitarist and a clear channel for the master artist. And he's brought through so many beautiful songs. And last week, We Are All One Family, We Are One Family was the song chosen. This week, my twin soul asked, once I asked him, what song do you feel resonates of yours that we can share in a kirtan to help benefit humanity? And his answer was his song, Where There Is Love. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you of us in a singing together of this in an call answer format where you make the call to source and then you answer in that same love. And it is where there is love. And those of you in the kingdom who resonate with it and loved it so much from last week, I did put a video of the song up on our One Soul Relationships page. I will do the same thing after this broadcast as well. But I invite you right now to just simply close your eyes and take some slow, deep Buddha belly breaths, expanding your belly as you do. And just really fully take in the resonance and the essence of those loved ones who are here with us physically, those loved ones who are nay here with us physically, who may be on the other side of the veil or the other side of the world, like my twin soul is right now, yet he's doing this satsang with me. He's doing this broadcast with me, and I can feel him here with me, just like you can feel your loved ones. And enjoy this essence. And if you feel the words coming to you to sing along, it's a very simple song. Here it is. Where there is love, there's healing, joy, and joy. Where there is love, there's a way. Where there is love, there's freedom. Where there is love, there's love shows. Where there is love, there's voices. Where there is love, just listen. Where there is love, there's healing.
Where there is love, feels so far. Where there's love, it's true that is. Where there is love, there's freedom. They can share. Where there's love, there's a way.
Where there is love. So where there is love means where there is source. Source shows the way. So I'm going to invite you now, if you have any questions. I will open it up now for readings, that you can take that wisdom within your heart. And I will now access the Akasha for all of you who have any questions. And I will be happy and humbly honored to do so. If you fancy, you're very welcome, Angie. Thank you for embracing such. If you fancy to give a love offering donation on the website, that would be diamondlady.net under the Soul Surfaces page. However, this is offered for free. I do this every Friday evening here on Facebook Live. So we'll go ahead and open it up. And Tracy, you said you are wishing for a reading. Do you have a specific question? Do you fancy me to just bring through whatever's coming through? Enki, as much as you know about me, what about you? There's loads I can share with you. What is it? What specifically? Tracy, did you have a specific question? If you do, go ahead and post it in the comments. If you may have a question, that's fine as well. You can just feel free to put general or just, you know, what have you. Okay, Tracy. So what's coming through for you is, in terms of your Akasha, you actually are a being who has been working in the angelic realm. So you actually come from the angelic realm. So for you, it's actually a message about understanding that this is not quite your last incarnation. You're close to your last incarnation. However, what you're doing right now is you're going to be laying the foundation of the angels that you're supposed to be working with. So Archangel Michael, Archangel Uriel, there's also goddess angels that you're working with that really don't have names per se. But you're really meant to be stepping into something along the lines of angelic Reiki, or something along the lines of working with the angels in terms of channeling that energy, because you're also a channeler. Okay, now this also relates in terms of twin soul energy, because you do have twin soul energy coming around you. However, being that this is your last incarnation, you and your twin soul will be kind of like saying hi to each other. You're not necessarily meant to be together in that respect, because you're part of the first wave of twin souls. So nice to meet you. I'm part of the my twin soul and I, we're part of the first wave, and the first wavers of twin souls are the ones who actually come here in our last incarnation to be together. And so since this is your your last incarnation, you still have some work to do. So you'll come into your twin soul essence, but it will be something that will be a kind of a hi, hello, how are you kind of thing. It's not that you're necessarily going to be in full union in this life, if that makes sense. So that's what's really coming through for you. But there's also for this year for you, what's really, really important is about stepping into more of the self-love and working with the angels of love. And this is love as in source energy, but talking about self-love, because there has been a mutated DNA pattern for you in which you have abdicated responsibility to other people to love you. Kind of goes back to what happened in channel earlier. Source is your source, rather than trying to extrapolate love from somebody else. It's about love with source first. So that's kind of a soul remembering, or what we call a life lesson that you're here to learn in this life. So if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to go through the comments here. Angie, you'd love to see what comes through for you at this time. Okay, so you are in a transition phase, actually, and that's all I got on the comment, was that you wanted to ken what was seen for you. I haven't gone through the rest of the comments yet, but you're in a transition phase right now, and this is about letting go. Now, this is free from just being about this life of letting go, and this actually originates for you in Egypt. Your life in Egypt is bleeding through into this one right now, because there was loads on there that you were free from letting go. You tended to be in a suffering, and what happens is we suffer when we hold on to patterns that no longer serve us. Okay, and so right now what happened in Egypt was actually you were in a place of, for lack of a better word, self-righteousness. You thought that your way was the only path, and so you went about attempting to help the people of Egypt with that, and they were not listening. And so this is kind of what's parlayed into and infused into this life now, and what's causing you pain is the fact that because of who you are as a soul, you want everybody to come into this understanding that you have, and to experience unconditional love. Except for you, it's very fleeting, right? The unconditional love comes and it goes. And it's because you have been very similar to the last one that I was saying. You kind of both are in that same vibrational frequency of abdicating responsibility of unconditional love to other people, or to other circumstances, or to other situations. So there's no accident that this came through for the channel this evening, because it's very much related to it. So for you, what letting go is, it's about letting go of what you thought could be. Okay, there's a lot of thought processes that are running around, and that bleed in from that life in Egypt as well, in which you think things should have been a certain way, and you're not okay with the way things are. And so part of the letting go process is actually coming to acknowledge the fact that, okay, this is as it is right now, and being okay with that. Now, a lot of times when that happens, what tends to happen for you personally, there's an anxiety that comes up. In general, for people, what tends to happen is like, oh my God, it's going to be like this forever if I admit that this is the way it is. Nay, okay, nay at all. What this is really about for you is in the acknowledgement of what's on in the moment. Okay, this is just the way it is. Then something else new can birth. Okay, but it's about letting go, and coming into unconditional love is about seeing through the eyes of source, seeing the unconditional love that source has for you, even if you're in a hot mess. Okay, and source still loves you. All right, and so this is the message for you in that respect, if that makes sense. Okay, Stephanie, you said you fancy a reading. Okay, did you have anything specific? I'm scrolling through to see if there was anything else in terms of you. No. Okay, just one other note, Angie, for you. When it comes to letting go, there's also that sense of, well, what's coming also through is the holding on to things is that sense of control. Like you think you have control over something. And what is really it's about surrendering. Surrendering to source. The greatest words is, I'll say it in Scots language, I dinna ken, I don't know. Okay, so be in that place of I don't know, source, show me. All right, rather than trying to plan your life and micromanage it and trying to control it, because underneath that, that's a fear of things may working out. Okay, allow source to guide your life. Okay, ask source for the vision and be willing to receive the signs and the synchronicities. I'm open, show me. I dinna ken, I don't know. Okay, and from there, that indwellingness of the heart, right? That's the going beyond the mind body and into infinite consciousness. I was on with the channeling. So Stephanie, next for you. Stephanie, very similar to as we are starting to blossom into the spring just now, you're starting to blossom into your spring. What this means for you is there's a particular project, and this goes from a soul agreement of something that you have had all the way back in your first incarnation. You are a Lemurian being, just like myself. And so in Lemuria, you had made a promise, a vow, that you were actually going to help humanity through some sort of an art. Okay, so this is some sort of an art collaboration, co-creation with source that's getting ready to come through you. So you're going to spring forward into that. Okay, and in that there is I also am seeing your twin soul around you as well. This is turning out to be a twin soul show. Okay, your twin soul is present, but nay, completely present. And it's about you stepping into your goddessness first and actually completing this vow related to some sort of an art. I'm not sure if you do any type of music or painting or art, some sort of an artistry in some form or fashion. There are light codes and light language, and because you actually channel light language and light codes, whether you've opened up to that yet or not. It's something that you actually are meant to be bringing forth, and this is the vow from Lemuria that you're meant to bring forth into this. And as you do that, your twin soul will come to you. Now, there's also a woman who is in your sphere right now, who you actually can or know from another life. And this was actually a life in which she actually murdered you. And so be free from being murdered. And source is saying, listen, my ear's itching. Source is saying, listen, that this woman, you know exactly who this is. Be free from being murdered, metaphorically speaking, in this life. You're allowing her to get your goat, if that makes sense. She tends to trigger you. And so your life lesson is about actually, or soul remembering is about actually to learn to be free from being triggered. Okay. And to love her unconditionally and to understand that that's just who she is. Okay. Let's see, who else? Sharanda, any guidance for you? Sharanda, you're a huge crystal healer. Have you been dealing anything in terms of crystals? You are actually a crystal goddess, for lack of a better word. You're actually meant to be formulating crystal grids. I'm being shown that in Atlantis, one of the things you used to do in the underground caves of the underground cities was actually lay out crystal grids. And these were igniting consciousness and connecting with the crystal skulls to illuminate humanity. Okay, so you're meant to go back to that And that's something that is very important in terms of your mission and purpose. This goes to actually the Ostarian being that you are. You come from Ostarius. It is a planet, or it's actually not even a planet, it's a cluster of planets. It's like a its own galaxy, if you will, and its primary purpose has to do with crystalline consciousness. So like I had said earlier in the channel, talking about the 3-3 Trinity energy that we're in right now, the Christ consciousness energy, you're meant to be working with crystals in bringing forth the crystalline consciousness. You're also a crystal child, and so you're meant to be working with the crystalline ray of consciousness. Anki, what's coming through for you? Okay, you're next. What's coming up for you personal or in terms of finances, you said? Okay, so for you, personal and finances go hand in hand. Okay, it's right. Okay, so this is kind of like the coronavirus. I hate to say it like this, but you're in this place of fear related to finances, okay? And it's not necessarily having to do with fear in this physical body in this earthly time. You tend to trust, for the most part financially. This is actually another body, another mind body of another life for you. And actually it has to do with poverty consciousness. You took a vow of poverty consciousness and lived the life as a beggar. And this was actually down south of me in England. And as a result, you have had this mutated DNA pattern that's just kind of dangling around, kind of hanging around just now, okay? And so you're being asked to work with that, and so come into that place of love in melding that. And automatically what I do anyway in bilocation consciousness, I help sort RNA, mutated DNA into RNA during sessions anyway. So whilst I'm here on this live broadcast, it's automatic. So I'm working with that mutated DNA right now and the light codes that go with it, and I'm helping to transmute that for you. But the inner work related to that life, going into what poverty consciousness means and that vow of poverty, and going ahead and doing some deeper inner work with that. Inner soul child healing work works really well with that. Also mutated DNA into RNA consciousness. You've been on my soul mediumship course, so you remember how to do that. So that would be something that you could work in. And then the personal of it will mutate itself into financial abundance. Yeah. So that's for the financial end of it. From the personal perspective, this is about just do it. That's what Source is saying. Just do it. There's been this wobble that's been going on with you, both financially and other ways as well. And they're saying just do it. Okay, it's not a matter of you like having to plan anything or anything else. You are already in that space, with the exception of that little tweak, right? You are already in that space of love consciousness. So just do it. Go for that doingness. Source has given you the guidance, and it's just meant for you to just take it and just run with it. Okay, that's what's coming through. Sharanda, you say you love crystals. Well, there you go. Okay, confirmation there. Hey, wow. What about Ireland? Okay, Ireland, not yet. Not yet. Ireland, latter half of this year, you're meant to go. And you're meant to go into some sacred sites. And again, it's about that crystal gridding energy. You're meant to do some, at the sacred sites, doing some crystal gridding, but latter half of the year, nay now. Plan for it later half of the year. Hello, Maggie. Lovely to see you. Let's see, who else is on here? Anybody else had question? Okay. Sharanta, you said twin soul and problems with, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, okay. Unless it's reversed, it means parents, I guess. Okay, I think you were writing parents is what you had in there. Okay, so twin soul consciousness. Okay, Wow. Okay. Twin soul consciousness is really going to kick start for you in a big way, again, related to Ireland in that sense, the second half of the year. Right now, you're kind of in, if you want to look at it, so we have spring coming up right now, right? We're starting to come into the spring, and some places ever so slowly, but we are. Okay, so spring usually is when you see things blossom, but for you and your twin soul, you're in a gestation period. Okay, so you're sitting in the infinite womb of, well, kind of actually, if I'd have to tip this a little bit, you're in the womb. Okay, you're in the womb of consciousness at the moment, with your twin soul. So in other words, there's a lot of work being done between the two of you behind the scenes, in terms of your soul work, in terms of things on the other dimensions, in your dream time as well. And this parlays into issues related with your parents. So part of the reason that things haven't sorted themselves completely with twin soul just yet is because there's healing work to be done for you with your parents. It's about reparenting yourself. Again, earlier from the other reading I was giving about having to do with grieving, and about the channel about grieving and whatnot. This is about reparenting yourself and letting go of your parents and what you thought could be with them. Okay, the suffering that you've had with your parents is because you want them to be in unconditional love and to be able to love you and to see you and to understand you in certain ways that they're just not capable of doing. They're not in their last incarnation, so they don't have the understanding to be able to grasp completely unconditional love, which you do. Okay, so you actually you have a similar soul agreement to myself. You actually birthed yourself into a family of opposites, where your parents are completely opposite of you in that respect, because you were meant to shine into who you are. Okay, and so as you heal and come into being your own mother and your own father, of rather than expecting them to be your source of unconditional love, source to be your source of unconditional love, and this is when that healing is going to occur. Now there's also deeper healing work to be done with that as well. Okay, and your parents, actually, you've been parents before, you've also had sorry, they've been your parents before, then you've also had role reversal where they have been your children and you have been the parent. In a life in which you were a man, you were their father, and you, some of the things that are on with your parents now are like the mirror reflection of what you're experiencing, that you were in that life with them as well when they were your children, if that makes sense. So there's deeper healing work to be done in that respect. And as you do that, then things will come into a bit more focus when it comes to your twin soul, if that makes sense. So Maggie, hold on, I'm trying to scroll down here. Okay, Maggie, you've said you feel extreme depression today, suddenly, and not sure why. Okay, pardon me, let me just shift here. The depression is not yours, okay? It's not yours, but it is yours. Okay, what I mean by that is, we're going to go back to last week's show, We Are All One Family. So we are all one family, so you're actually picking up on the collective depression moment. So depression is actually suppressed energy, suppressed vibrational frequency, suppressed emotion, energy and motion. Okay, and what's happening right now, because of the events that are on in the world of effects right now, there are many who are either being forced into isolation or collectively and individually attempting to self-isolate out of fear. Some are like myself, spend time alone anyway. That's just my life. Even once my twin soul and I are together physically and we marry, there will be times when we'll be together, and there'll be times when we'll be alone. We may be in separate rooms or what have you. But that's what's happening right now. And as a result of that, there are so many souls on this planet who have a deep problem, I have to say, and I say this free from judgment, but they have a deep problem or issue alone. There is a difference between being alone and being lonely. We all require, need connection. Now, we have connection in various ways. Heart to heart, soul to soul connection, telepathically, energetically, that's our first language, right? And then there's also the physical, and it's never to replace the physical. We do need that physical human touch. We do need to be together. But what's happening is because of this, there's a collective depression going on that we are picking up on. I see you like to be alone. See, this is why you're feeling the extreme depression, but it's not yours. You are an empath, okay? You're actually, you're someone that's known as a rainbow child, whether you ken this or not. So rainbow children are, from the Akashic perspective, from the soul perspective, rainbow children are ones who have all of their spiritual gifts and they've come here with them fully on. Okay, so within that respect, one of your gifts is being an empath, Maggie. The other is you're what's known as a HSP, which stands for highly sensitive person. So you're highly sensitive to vibrations, to frequencies, to energies, to emotions, and you can just go wah with it all, right? And it's kind of like my son, my youngest son, Anthony, bless his heart, the grown man that he is. But once he was wee, he was, I think 3 or 4, I used to take him around to the spiritual did, and he used to go like this. Okay, and it was not just because of the noise level, it was because he was hearing everybody's vibrations and frequencies and energies. So that's who you are, Maggie, in that respect. And so what you're doing is you're picking up on the collective depression that's happening right now because people have a hard time being alone with themselves. I often give the analogy of a dear friend of mine down south in England, bless her heart. A couple of years ago, she invited me to come through to her farm to speak at her festival or fair that she had on, to do sessions and whatnot. And she was running around like a mad woman. And of course, you know, she was the facilitator of it. And I had asked her at one point, just stop for a moment and just sit with me and just be. And she's like, I can't do that. And I had said to her, why? And she said, because that means I would have to feel. Okay. The antidote is love, and the antidote is feeling what you feel in the moment. And as you feel it, it automatically dissipates because the mind body experiences emotions, thought processes like this infinitely. I mean, zillions of them per second, right? So Maggie, the reason that you're picking up on this is to actually help the collective. Part of who you are is an empath, an intuitive, a sensitive, and an HSP, a highly sensitive person who is a rainbow child, is you're here to actually, like the shamans or the shamans, would collectively collect the illness, if you will, of the tribe, and then transform it love and send it back out. The reason that you're feeling this extreme depression is you're feeling the collective consciousness of those who are actually feeling, who are being forced to actually be now, and be with their feelings, and you're helping them to process that vibrational frequency. So good on you. As part of your soul purpose here, and I invite you to continue in that path. Sit in meditation if you're feeling those depressive symptoms. Bring forth the essence of being with it. Just be with it, and be with all of humanity who is feeling it. And then from there, you're going to feel this indwellingness in your heart for creativity, right? And you can bring that creativity vibe of source through you, as you, to all, and send it out in love and in meditation. It is absolutely what you can do, because one person, one soul who is connected to source in that way has the power of more than billions who are not, who are nay. Okay? incredible gift, and I completely honor you for it, Maggie, and thank you for coming here to this earth to give such a gift. You had that feeling. Exactly. Because you were saying, do rainbow children have twin souls? They do. Because many people think that you're their twin. Okay, so there is, let me clear this up for all of you who are listening. There is only one twin soul. Okay, there is one soul in two bodies. Okay, and those who are here on this planet who are with their twin souls or who are coming into their twin souls, there's only one. Okay, there is no such thing as many twin souls. Now, there are near twins, which are the closest vibrational frequency essence to twin soul. Okay, and that's probably what those people who are thinking that you're their twin, what they're seeing is the amalgamation of the vibrational frequency energy as a near twin they are to you, or the reflection of their twin that you are to them. Okay, and that's what they're seeing, and of course it can be confusing. And this is the thing. Most people have absolutely no clue about what their soul agreements are. Personally, their Akashic records, what's in their Akashic records, how many lives they've lived, their soul's path and progression, if this is their last incarnation, if they're a rainbow child, what their starseed origins are, what dimension they come from, what have you, let alone if it's their twin soul. Okay, and because they're not accessing the Akasha, this is where when I do twin soul mentoring sessions, this is where I'm unique in that perspective. I actually bring forth where I'm accessing your Akasha, and I'm not telling you, oh, this is your twin soul because it's me saying so. Nay, it's about the fact that I'm accessing your Akasha, and I can tell you, okay, right, yeah, this is your twin soul, or actually, nay, it's not your twin soul, or your twin soul's coming back as a walk-in. He may have passed or she may have passed, and they're coming back in as a walk-in, or it's not your last incarnation, and you're not meant to come into your twin soul, or if you do, it's a hello, how are you kind of thing. All of these things in between, these are things that you would understand if you're accessing the Akasha, okay, or the Akashic records, which is what I'm doing here with you. And so like you said, you think they're doppelgangers. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, in a sense. So Azalea, you're asking any guidance for you. Oh, Angie, you said thank you for your love and your time. Oh, you're so welcome. My humble honor and pleasure. Any guidance for you, Azalea? Okay, so Azalea, what's coming through for you actually is your starseed origin is very important for you in this incarnation. Okay, you actually come from Pleiades, and Pleiadian beings deal with mutated DNA patterns, okay, as a whole. Now, specifically, your specific soul agreement actually has to do with mutated DNA patterns having to do with the divine feminine goddess, particularly around, and pardon me for saying it this way, but here it is, particularly around monthly cycles, the moon time, moon cycles. There is a perception of humanity that is dealing with unhealed womb issues, okay, and particularly related to the moon time cycle of understanding divine feminine goddesses and how they are to have balance during their cycle. They need time within during the bleeding time to actually give birth to the wisdom, and it's about the sacredness of that. So this is your work as a Pleiadian being, and particularly this year you're being invited really to dive deep into your womb, do some deep healing regarding womb healing, do some deep healing in terms of the moon time blood for you. One of the beautiful things that I talk about in my Divine Feminine Goddess course is about how we're to take our moon time blood and literally use it as sacred blood, doing it in ceremony. And you can do it as a painting, you can do it where you give it to Mother Earth, because there's stem cells in it and there's nutrients in it that our earth is missing. Okay, and we're meant to honor that in sacred ceremony. So for you, beautiful. It's really about blossoming into that sacred wombness for you. And going back to your Pleiadian starseed origins, writing those mutated DNA patterns having to do with womb energy for you this year. That's a very big focus, especially in this next few months for you, in that respect. And this also plays in with your health, because there's about a nurturing essence of nurturing that energy for your health and well-being as well, physically, emotionally, mentally, and then also going beyond the mind and body into cosmic consciousness. Okay, Ashley, can you tell me if you've met your twin soul? You have. You have. Pardon me. Okay, right. Tickle in the throat that just came through. Okay, so there's something that you're naysaying. All right, there's something you've said to your twin soul. There's like this, oh gosh, what's the word? It's like a veil almost of shyness, like you feel like you're nay worthy. And I say you, and it's you and your twin soul. It's the both of you. There's this veil that's between you. So you can who you are, but there's this veil of shyness of like, yeah, I pretty well can that this is who you are, but I'm not sure if I should go for it, if that makes sense. Well, go for it. Okay, you are in your last incarnation. You and your twin soul. You, like my twin soul and others who have been on here who are with their twin souls, you have a mission and purpose for humanity, okay? And that's most important. Connection with source and connection with your twin soul. Soulful romantic love comes into it, but that's an after effect, okay? That comes from the blossoming of being in source consciousness first, okay? And you're being invited to let go of that shyness, okay? Because you are in your last incarnation. So you're not coming here to earth anymore. So this is about you really sorting out what it is about the unworthiness. And I can tell you this is related to some other lives that you and your twin soul have had, in which you actually have denied each other, for lack of a better word. You denied his existence and he denied your existence, if that makes sense. And as a result, this is where that veil of shyness or unworthiness or unsuredness is. So it's about coming out of that wobble and getting into that centered focus. Okay, and so that's going to be your work before you'll actually fully come into union. But you have fully come into it, to your twin soul. You can who he is. All right, so with that, that is it. Any of you who I've given readings to, please accept my apologies. I will try to catch you next time. Hold on. Oh, wait, there's one. Wow, you said Ashley. Okay, hold on. There's one last one that came in. Source said you're not done yet. All right. I am not certain if I am having a transition with your twin. You're welcome, Ashley. Janie, you are in transition with your twin. The transition actually is, it's a death, but it's not a death, okay? It's an egoic death. Okay, so the transition is actually what's known as a DNS. And this is a repeat from a life in which you're welcome. This is a repeat from a life in which you may completed this. Okay, your twin soul actually crossed over instead of transitioning out of the death of the ego, instead of transitioning out of the death of fear and anxiety. Okay, he actually offed himself or took his own life in that life. And so you've brought that into this life so you can sort it now. So the transition that you're going through is not actually a physical death. It's a death of a dark night of the soul. And actually, that's such a misnomer. It's a bad terminology. It's actually a dark night of the ego, really. It's a dark night of the mind-body connection. And it's not a dark night of the soul, because the soul is not dark. The soul is infinite light. But nonetheless, Yeah, exactly. You're dying, but you're nay dying in the sense of physical. He's alive, very much so. He died in that life. That other life is what I was referring to. Nay in this life. Okay. You're dying, but you're not going to physically die. You have the choice to continue life. Okay. So this is the death in terms of a dark night of the soul. You may necessarily are going to physically die. Okay. This is, again, you have the choice. You have actually the power in your hands to be free from dying physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in all ways. Okay. So your transition is actually a earthly death transition, if you understand what I mean. Okay. If you can, what I mean. You died and you came back, but you're not done yet, if that makes sense. There's still more to this death. You haven't processed. That's what I mean. It's a DNS. Yeah. Okay. So you said So you understand what I mean. You can what I mean. Okay. So this is this is the process of your integrating right now. So this DNS, if you will, is the integrating process. And then that transition, as you come through that integration, that's what will give birth then to the full union of your twin soul. Okay. With that said, all right, we are at the top of the hour. I love you and appreciate all of you. So please remember, where there is love, where there is love, where there is source, there is healing, there's peace, there's joy, there's breaking those chains that bind you, there's freedom. We are here to be free, to be who we are in singing our soul song. May ye be guided by love. May we be guided by love. May our hearts be guided by love, love that is source. And may our songs echo this same heart of love. And until next week, I will see you again next Friday evening, 10 p.m. Scotland time, Universal Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love all of you. I love you. Thank you to my twin soul for being in this, our show as one, co-creating together. I love you. I appreciate you. And you're amazing. Espada.